Hey, 3 days in a row, I am smashing this. I wanted to share with you today something I picked up, sounds very dodgy, I don't need to go to the doctor, luckily, from an absolute legend, and it's kind of, it will change, I think it changed my, not life, but it changed my sort of thinking about this, and it's such a huge sort of wide implication, so I want to share this with you. So let's go. So here we are. What am I talking about, and what is this breakthrough that I have? Well, the book that I've been reading recently, or one of the many books, is Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi, and it's quite, again, I'm constantly saying this, a game changer, but there's so many good things in there, and I think he approaches it from such a fresh perspective, which is what I like about Dean. And whilst there's a lot of similarities with usual stuff like Tony Robbins, etc., just the way he kind of breaks things down and approaches things, I think is quite refreshing. And there's many aspects of this book, many things, but the one thing that I want to share today, which has kind of really sort of got to me and made me think, and this is, the more I think about this, it's a huge thing. And what the quote is the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Now, that may not be the exact words of the quote, but you get the idea. So what does this basically mean? So how I read it, it means that, if you do one thing sort of shoddy and messy without any thought, half-assed, and just around doing that, it's likely that's the approach you'll take to everything in your life, business, relationships, everything. So this is almost similar to a Grant Cardone of kind of going all in, or Gary V of going all in. Go all in on everything, and doesn't mean necessarily go all in on one thing but then ignore everything else. Trust me, I've learned the hard way on that one. But whatever you're doing, do it to your absolute best. And literally, I've just in the car just now, I was listening to a Jim Rohn audiobook, and he was literally just talking about, I'm just going to use the word literally a few more literal times, literally, but what he was saying was humans are the only species that doesn't do everything as much as it can, apart from growing. At growing, we have no choice on growing, so we will grow to height, etc. But as far as sort of anything else, we don't do everything to the max. We'll sort of do a little bit, or do just enough. But what he was just saying it on the book was, a tree will just grow as high as it can grow, and the roots as deep as they can grow. There's no kind of decision in there. And I think because we limit, or often limit, and certainly personally speaking have limited my efforts on things, or maybe on one thing, but then you notice that I've actually on many things I've actually done the same thing, even though I'm not conscious of the fact that I'm only half-arsing something. If I now look back at it all in a very sort of objective view, it's like, I've tooled this up completely, because I've half-arsed everything as opposed to just being all in and doing the best I can on everything. Now that could be washing up, it could be tidying up, and it's hugely, but the more I think about it, my car has been an absolute tip for, let's be honest, months, and it's been full of stuff. And recently I've just moved a lot of stuff out of storage, and I've had to move the stuff from storage to the car, and the car to my room. So you can sort of see a few, my whiteboardies here, and there's a few, I need to sort of put a few down. We've got a nice one picture of the kids up there, which is all good. But the point being is that it's taken time, and this place has been messy, the car's been messy, and my life has been messy. And so when I heard this quote about how you do one thing is how you do everything, it's like a light bulb went off, because it's so true. That if I was ridiculously obsessed with tidying up my room, I would also be ridiculously obsessed with tidying up the car, etc. And so the fact of how you do one thing is how you do everything is incredibly, I've personally found incredibly true. And it's something that worth bearing in mind, because you might think, okay, I'm going to concentrate on just doing this one thing here, and that stuff over there doesn't really matter. But what you'll find is, if that stuff doesn't matter, personally as well, I will tend to half-arse what I'm doing, because that doesn't matter, therefore this doesn't matter, and therefore everything doesn't matter. This goes, unfortunately, making, not saying things didn't matter, but half-arsed relationships, my business, everything, my health. And so it's been a huge sort of wake-up call just reading that quote, because then when I sat back and thought about it, it was like, wowzers. So I just wanted to share that with you guys today, because that's what I want to do, share things that have kind of been, I suppose, hugely powerful to me, and hopefully you'll get some value, or you can recognize something for you. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Smash a like, leave a comment if you thought that principle was kind of interesting. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel. It really does mean a lot to me, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.